Hi, this is Janet with Paper and Spark. Welcome to the video tutorial series for my most popular bookkeeping tool, the Etsy Seller Spreadsheet. If you're watching this tutorial, chances are you already have purchased the spreadsheet file itself. Your purchase currently includes two spreadsheet files, one for 2017 and one for 2018. It's important to note that the file itself does use dated formulas. That means each file only works for the year that it is dated. I am happy to provide past or future years upon request for free. Just email me at hello@paperandspark.com and let me know what year and what spreadsheet type you're looking for. You'll see me using 2015 in these spreadsheet tutorials, but as long as you're operating in whatever year's file you need to be operating in, all the steps work exactly the same. Your purchase also includes access to these video tutorials, along with a step-by-step PDF guide that walks you through how to use this tool. You can open your spreadsheet file in Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, or Numbers on a Mac. If you don't have any spreadsheet software on your computer, then I suggest using Google Sheets because it's totally free with any Gmail account. In these videos, you'll see me using the spreadsheet in Excel on a Mac. It might look slightly different than Google Sheets or Numbers, but for the most part, everything works exactly the same. If there's any different actions that you need to take, like with Numbers, I've noted that in the PDF instructions, and I'll mention it in the video as well. If you're wondering where you can purchase the Etsy Seller Spreadsheet, it's for sale at paperandspark.com and also in my Etsy shop, which is called Paper and Spark. Let's get started by just reviewing the monthly summary tab right here, kind of getting acquainted with your spreadsheet. We have the monthly summary tab that's broken down on a monthly basis. I've got some example data loaded in the spreadsheet right now for me to walk you through how to use it. You can see I only uploaded sporadically the months in here, so just ignore that. But we have your revenue section up top. Revenue means your sales, all the money that customers are paying you for the goods or services that you're selling. We have your expenses, which I've broken up into three categories: selling expenses, product expenses, and business expenses. And then every type of expense has their own individual rows with more categories underneath. And a lot of the color coding here corresponds to the tabs down here. So you'll see your yellow postage costs are coming from your postage expense tab. You've got pink materials tabs, purple business expense tabs, and then these monthly light blue tabs are where you're going to import your Etsy order CSV. And that's how we'll get your Etsy sales, the shipping that customers pay you for your Etsy items, and your Etsy direct checkout fees. It's also going to import your sales tax information. That's why this cell is light blue right here. So just to review, revenue, we're going to import our Etsy sales, as I said, and then it's also important to note that the shipping that a customer pays to you is considered revenue for both accounting and tax purposes. We're not talking about the shipping that you pay to ship a good. That's an expense. We're talking about the amount that customers pay you. Let's start off with the revenue section by walking through how to import your Etsy orders CSV from Etsy. Alright, so you will log into your shop manager, and there are a few different places you can download the CSV file from. For this example, let's click on Settings and then go to Options. From there you can click on the Download Data tab. This is where you can download a few different types of CSV files from Etsy about your sales or your listings and other stuff. From this drop-down menu, you want to make sure to select Orders. Okay, do not choose Order Items. That's a frequent mistake. You want to go with Orders, okay? Then right here you can select whatever month you want to be working with and whatever year. So for this example, we'll do December 2015. And then you click Download CSV. And then you should be able to open this file in Numbers, Excel, or you can even open it in Google Sheets. So here's my December Etsy orders CSV file opened in Excel. I'm basically going to import this information into my Etsy Seller Spreadsheet by copying all this data and then pasting it into the December tab of my Etsy Seller Spreadsheet. Now, if you're using Numbers on a Mac, there's one extra step that you need to do at this point in the timeline. And what you will need to do is unhide some columns on the monthly tab. I've hidden columns on these monthly tabs of the Etsy Seller Spreadsheet because the Etsy order CSV gives you a whole lot of information, and some of that you don't really need. I don't really need to look at the buyer's full name or the order ID and those kinds of things. So those columns might be hidden here just to make the information a little more compact and easier to look at. But if you're using Numbers for whatever reason, the copy and pasting doesn't work right if you're copying a different number of columns into hidden columns. So if you are using Numbers, please note that there's one extra step you need to take at this point before copying and pasting your Etsy order CSV file in your Import tab. Basically, you need to unhide the hidden columns first. If you do not know how to unhide columns in Numbers, I have instructions on exactly how to do this in the PDF file that came with your spreadsheet. So make sure that you do that if you're working in Numbers before following the next steps I'm going to show you. And if you don't have Numbers, just keep following along with me here. So here I am again looking at my December Etsy order CSV. First, I'm going to copy all the data that I want to paste into the Etsy Seller Spreadsheet. So I'm going to do that by starting with row 2. I don't need the column headers in row 1. I'm going to click row 2 right here. See how my cursor turned into this little black arrow? I'm going to click row 2 and hold down the mouse, okay, and not let go. And then I'm just going to drag till I get to the end of my data. Okay, so I'm at the end of my data. I'll let go of the mouse. I've got everything selected. Now I need to copy it. So I can either do Command C on a Mac keyboard, I can do Control C on a Windows keyboard, or I can right click and just do copy. Now I'll navigate back to, see how I've got these dancing ants? That means that I have successfully copied this data. Now I'm going to navigate back to my Etsy Seller Spreadsheet on my December tab, and I'm going to paste this data. In order to do that, I just need to select row 2, just that one row, but make sure the whole entire row is highlighted. And I do that by clicking on the 2 for row 2. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. And now all of that data is magically dumped into my December tab on my Etsy Seller Spreadsheet. So I can go look at my monthly summary tab now and see that I do indeed have December Etsy sales, December Etsy shipping, and my Etsy direct checkout percentage for December are now pre-populated into this monthly summary tab. And you can do that for any month that you're working with, and it'll automatically pull data for those 3 rows. So you might have a few questions about what sort of amounts are getting pulled from your Etsy orders CSV, and that's a very good question. So let's look at my December tab of the data that I just imported here. Take a look at the columns that we've got. We have order value. That's pretty much going to be what the item that you sold was listed at on Etsy. And then we've got some coupon information, but we don't actually get the coupon amount here. We just get some qualitative info about the coupon. We get shipping, and that's the shipping that the customer paid you. We get sales tax that the customer might have paid you, and then we get an order total. So this order total column is going to include the order value minus any discounts, plus shipping paid you, plus sales taxes. So the monthly summary tab sales row is pulling your order total because that's taking discounts into account. And then it's subtracting the shipping because we're including that on a separate line. So just to clarify, this number is pulling from the amount the customer paid you, taking into account any discounts, subtracting out shipping, and including sales taxes paid. All right, so for previous versions of this spreadsheet, discounts weren't taken into account. And so if you're having a lot of sales or offering a lot of coupon codes, that can, warp your numbers a lot. So this takes into account discounts, and then shipping is on a separate line. And just remember that sales tax is included in these Etsy sales. The only other thing that you need to worry about is right here on row 6, and that's going to be your refunds. Unfortunately, Etsy does not make it very easy for you to know the exact amount that you may have refunded on an order. If you're worried about refunds or you're trying to incorporate that into your spreadsheet, you simply need to look at these monthly tabs that you imported data in. If you have a refunded order, then you'll have amounts showing up in these columns right here, Z, AA, and AB. And unfortunately, I don't have an example to show you because somehow I've gotten away with not refunding anything in the entire year of 2015. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, if you have refunded any amount, whether it be for shipping or the order itself, you'll have some adjusted totals showing up here. So what you'll want to do is look at column Z, the adjusted order total, and it will be less than the order total. However less it is, that's the amount that you refunded. So figure out the amount that you actually refunded, and then go back to your monthly summary tab and type that in. Okay, I typed some in here so you can see an example. So let's say I refunded $12 in August. I typed that in here in my refund row, and I do want to type it in as a negative amount, okay? It is money out of my pocket, so I'm going to express it in the refund section as negative, okay? Now moving on with the revenue section, there's 3 additional lines here that you can rename to whatever you want. So if you sell on other venues like eBay or Squarespace or whatever, you can rename these to apply and enter your sales in the applicable month as well. That's it for part 1 of the Etsy Seller Spreadsheet video tutorial series. In part 2, I'm going to walk you through how to enter all of your expenses on these colored tabs down here. So I hope you join me there. Thanks.